Back in Isaiah 22 and verse 8, we read, He removed the protection of Judah. You looked in that day to the armor of the house of the forest. So it's interesting. He's saying here that in the time that Judah fell, so again, this is not talking about the Assyrians, because they sought the Lord during the Assyrian siege, and the Lord defended them and conquered their enemies. But later, with Babylon, they did not seek the Lord, and so they were conquered by their enemies. But he's saying he removed the protection from Judah. He's taken his hand of protection off from over you. And it is a very dangerous thing when the Lord removes his protective covering from a nation or even from a person who claims to be a child of God, who is a child of God. Oftentimes, we put ourselves into positions where we are no longer abiding in Christ. We're no longer sticking close to the Good Shepherd. And that's when bad things happen. We need to stay close to Jesus. We need to keep close to him. And if we're close to him, if we draw near to him, he will draw near to us. But if we don't want him and we don't want to be close to him and we push him away and we go our own way, we're going to end up in dangerous territory. We're going to end up with wolves. We're going to end up with lions. Think about the picture of the sheep wandering from the shepherd. It's a very dangerous thing. The sheep may drink from a polluted spring and die, get sick and die from polluted water. The sheep may eat some poisonous grass and get sick and die. The sheep could be eaten by a pack of coyotes or a wolf or a lion. The safest place for the sheep to be is right by the shepherd. And so, people who really leave the Lord, they walk away from the Lord because they don't want God's rules over them. They don't want God's word in their life. They don't want to surrender to the Lord. They think that they could do it on their own, do it their own way. Oftentimes that's when they end up in trouble because they've left that place of covering. They've left that place of safety. And we know that there is an example of a righteous man who had the protective covering of God removed from him, and you saw what happened to him. That man was called Job. And we read in Job, I think this is a very good example of what Isaiah is talking about that hedge of protection, that covering that God puts over his people. Job chapter 1 and verse 6 says this, Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them. And the Lord said to Satan, From where do you come? So Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro on the earth, and from walking back and forth on it. Then the Lord said to Satan, Have you considered my servant Job? That there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man, one who fears God and shuns evil. So Satan answered the Lord and said, Does Job fear God for nothing? Have you not made a hedge or a covering around him and his household and around all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land. But now stretch out your hand and touch all that he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. And the Lord said to Satan, Behold, all that he has is in your power, only do not lay a hand on his person. So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. And so Job did not walk away from the Lord. He did not abandon the Lord. He did not do anything wrong. This was a test that Job was going through, that he had no idea that there was this heavenly scene, that God was boasting about him. God was pointing him out because he was such a righteous man. And Satan, who is the accuser of the brethren, came and accused him before the throne of God. And the Lord allowed Job to be tested, but he gave Satan limits on what he would be able to do. But the first thing that Satan said when God was pointing Job out, Satan says, well, yeah, but you won't let me get to him. No wonder why Job is such a righteous man, because you blessed his socks off. Job was one of the richest men of the ancient world of this time, according to the historians. He was a very wealthy man, perhaps even a king around the time of Abraham. And it's believed that Job is actually the oldest book that's ever written in the Bible. It was actually written prior to Moses, right? It's believed to be written during the time of Abraham. And Job was a wealthy man. Job was a rich man. He was also a good man, and he was like a king. He was a ruler in the land. And so Satan was telling God, well, no wonder why Job serves you. Does Job fear God for nothing? Have you not put a hedge around him, his family, all of his possessions? In other words, I can't touch him. You've put a hedge of protection around him. And so there's a key there for us. I believe that God will keep a hedge of protection around his people so long as we're sticking close to Jesus. Job was a rare example where the Lord allowed Job to be tested. He removed his hand of protection through nothing that Job did, but just to prove to Satan that Job would not deny his name and that Job would not curse God and that Job would continue. Although he didn't understand what was happening, he did not deny the Lord. He did not blame God. He did not curse God. In all this, Job did not sin with his mouth against the Lord, it says. But it's a very, very scary thing to see the power that the enemy has when God removes his hedge of protection. And it's not just with individuals, it's also with nations or with cities like the city of Jerusalem or the nation of Judah.